Hi, everybody. So yeah, first of all, nice to see you here. And yeah, I'm just going to give you a brief introduction what are we actually going to talk about. So yeah, briefly about us. Oh, the clicker is okay. That's fine. So briefly about us. Yeah, as mentioned, Jake Skoric, CEO of Delta Reality, a company specialized in creating XR solutions for companies all around the world. And with me today is here Mr. Simon Stör, who is leading the Linde Virtual Academy, and he will actually tell you something a bit more about the academy itself. So please.
Thank you, Jake. Yeah, welcome here. Happy to be here. It's the first time for me. And an AWE, so I'm excited, same as you are. My name is Simon. I'm working in the product management at Linde Engineering, especially in the after-sales services. And maybe you don't know Linde Engineering. It's an EPC contractor, EPC company in the group of Linde. Linde, maybe you know and have touch points. If you think of having a beer tonight, then maybe the carbon dioxide inside the beers produced by Linde. So Linde is everywhere in the world, but let's focus today on the topic here. So as a product owner, we're managing the Linde Virtual Academy called LVA, and it is an operator training platform used for the Linde assets worldwide. So we had the idea approximately 5 years ago to have a training, very easy setup, more or less like the Netflix approach, where you can book it online, you can download it, you pay for it, and then you train it. And in our business, this setup is not as easy because we are an old economy business, and to change the mindset, there was quite some effort in, but we managed, and we have now customers worldwide. And we developed more than 50 different training scenarios. Some are customer specific. For example, a customer saying, okay, I have certain operator trainings, certain steps I need to follow. I would like you, Linde, to develop such trainings for my asset. Of course, we did that, but also we have some standard scenarios where more or less they are matching a majority of needs. And so both scenarios are possible. And those trainings are in the field of maintenance, operational, the safety, and also in the risk awareness. But let's have a closer look inside. So the training setup, and that's very important, you have a guided and unguided mode. So in the LVA, you can meet our digital guide. It's called Oxy, from oxygen as the gas. And this guide, Oxy, helps you to go through the trainings step by step. And the good thing is that you can do it once, you can do it twice, you can do it 20 times together with the Oxy until you feel that you already gained some knowledge in the training. And after that, and this is also very interesting, you can switch from the learning phase to the testing phase. So you go from linear to behavior, then you skip the Oxy and check what you know. Yeah? You check how much you learned already, and then you can train without the guide on your own. So what are the values of our trainings? Of course, it's safe. Safety is more or less the most important thing in our business. You can train scenarios you would never train in real life. For example, an explosion in the asset. This is something you cannot do in life. You can do it in the VR. You can fail. You can try it 20 times, no problem on that. So it's a safe environment. It's centralized, means all the knowledge, all the training steps are in-house. Even experienced workforce is leaving the company. Still, the training itself is there. And last but not least, of course, it's effective. Means if you as a customer are ordering a plan from us, we are building these plans in a time frame of 2 to 4 years, let me say, so you can start the onboarding of your operators even before the plant is constructed. And of course, you know, VR trainings are much more effective than normal classroom training. So if you combine it, yeah, there's a huge benefit. And before I hand over to Jake, I would show you just a 1-minute video demonstrating what it is about.
Thank you, Simon. Well, this is a weird one.
Green button.
I pressed the green, right? The green, okay, thanks. So yeah, as Simon mentioned, the idea in Linde started actually in 2018. And as he mentioned, it's quite a slow industry. When the VR training in the oil and gas industry actually started to gain traction, I think it was like start of 2020. We faced a lot of challenges as a company, and these are some of them. So we had challenges with unstandardized interactions. So let's say a training you built late 2019 is not very similar to a training from end of 2020. Why? A different developer, a different designer was, or a different standard operating procedure was there, and the training itself is not actually standardized. So that was one of the first challenges. Also, the instructional manuals and standard operating procedures in the oil and gas industries, I think, are one of the most complex. So the real challenge was actually how to transfer all of that knowledge, all of that theory, all of those learnings, how to transfer them into virtual reality environment. Security as well, all of these companies are really keen to secure their data, so it was not easy to distribute all of these trainings to refineries all across the world. Headset support, as you already know, every year we have a new headset, different headset. Some companies go down, some companies change strategies, so it was really hard to have a product that can support something in the near future, because you don't know how the market is actually going to change. Graphic optimization, as you actually saw there in the video, all of those plants, CAD models, millions of polygons, and you need to somehow transfer that into virtual reality environment, and it has to really have a high level of detail. And at the end, a lot of projects started gaining in. So I think Linde had like at one point, I think 30 to 40 projects in the pipeline that needed to be delivered in the next 9 to 12 months. And they told us, okay, guys, we need to scale this somehow, but we have to have a constant, quality in the work. And it's really not easy, as probably some of you know, to really hire great developers and to scale production in that way. And of course, I think every company tries to reduce cost at some point. So can you be better, faster, and a little bit more affordable? So that was the main point back in 2020. And yeah, I think before addressing all of these challenges, I think you need to build a strong foundation. So we started with the engine. So we relied on Unity. I think Unity today is has something around 90% of the XR market. They're not even communicating anymore as a gaming-only platform. They're like a 3D platform for creating virtual reality simulation or something like that. So we saw that in their long-term strategy, XR is the next big thing. Also, in order to scale the production, so to keep the quality of the trainings itself and to produce them in a better way, we couldn't really rely on great engineers. I mean, if you have 50 or hundreds of trainings in a pipeline, you needed to go and somehow find a low-code solution. So we relied on Unity's visual scripting tool, something similar to Unreal Blueprints. I'm not sure you read about it. But the idea was we need to learn somebody in like 2 weeks or so how to create a great VR simulation for the Linde Virtual Academy. And this is one of the paths we took. And this is just an example of one training. So really not so many coding, just like underneath the hood, the Linde core, which I'm going to talk about later, is actually enabling, let's say, junior developers, even students, by using Unity and their virtual scripting tool to create great and efficient training. So this is just an example, as you can see, like hundreds of steps, hundreds of nodes, or something like that. Also, back a couple of years ago, there was a problem. So you're building the academy, you're building the trainings, but you want to support every device out there, but you're not sure what's going to actually be the trend in the next year or so. So it was really hard back in 2019, 2020. So for every device, you needed to have a separate SDK. It conflicted a lot. If you wanted to change the platform you want to support, it took you like weeks or something to adjust your trainings for it. But thankfully, there was the OpenXR protocol that enables us actually, in a matter of hours, to actually support every device out there. And I think every major OEM today actually supports the OpenXR and Unity, and interoperability is one of the main points today. It was really hard a couple of years ago. And also, as I mentioned, graphic optimization, all of those huge CAD models, millions of polygons, metadata, everything, you needed to convert that in some way and decide what's actually important and what's not. And in the process, we decided to go with the Pixies. Also, I think today is Unity owned. So a Pixies enables you to actually, in a couple of clicks, just to gain the data from the CAD model and to create somehow a game-ready model for you, and you can really like scale it down for up to like 6 months. You can scale it down to 1 month of work or something like that. And also the Linde core, as I mentioned. So the Linde core is all of those plugins and things we needed to do under the hood, while not relying only on the off-the-shelf products. We needed to do a distribution platform because all the customers actually were really keen to have a secure solution. They actually can't rely on external solutions, but they wanted to have their system in control and to maybe only communicate with Linde in the process. And yeah, we needed to create 100 standardized interactions. As I mentioned, standardization was a challenge at the start. So now every training, is it made maybe in 2019 or 2023, it would be more or less dissimilar. So it's really now standardized in this way, and I will show you afterwards how does it actually looks. All of those interactions actually needed to be connected to all of those nodes I showed you, and that enables us to really create great training while not compromising on the quality. Custom plugins, let's say voiceover generator. So to create fast voiceovers, we're relying on AI. Let's say AWS creates all of these voiceovers for us in a matter of seconds, so we can change them constantly and adapt for better use within the trainings. And of course, the analytics part, where everything is already integrated and we can pull out whatever data we actually need from the trainings itself. Error rates, number of tries, or something like that. And yeah, there's a lot more, but a bit too technical. I don't even understand it. And this is an example of those interactions. So actually, every training we create pulls out the interaction from this We call it the hallway. And yeah, this is actually everything specific for the oil and gas industry. Not sure you're familiar with it, but yeah. So all of this interaction was pretty standardized. And as we encounter a new type of training, a new type of interaction, we just build it once, and it's getting pulled into every training, and it's really easy to expand. If, let's say, some customer has a different walkie-talkie, a different procedure in terms of handling the emergencies. So, yeah. And yeah, I'm going to talk a little bit the LVA platform. So it's a general training platform for the distribution on VR trainings. So it's cloud-based or it can be on premises. Again, security, all of those plants are actually not connected to the internet. So there is an option that Linde installs an on-premises solution for distribution of trainings in your facility. Of course, user management, and all of those trainers can actually pull analytics out of the system. So, as you saw, we talked a lot about the platform, the PCVR, the ups and downs and everything. So the Academy actually started with one goal, had the best trainings out there in the oil and gas industry, and you can get that at that point only on PCVR. So it was an awesome solution. I think Vive was a leader in that market segment with Vive Pro, but things are changing, as we know, by the month or year. So there's a lot of cons regarding PCVR. You need space, and a lot of these refineries who are trying to implement VR trainings, they even don't have the space that can dedicate. They don't even have this IT support guys. They don't even have the IT support guys. It's hard to scale, so you wanted to distribute your trainings to a different facility or something like that. You need to build the whole training center. And as mentioned, OEM strategy is changing. Today, Oculus abandoned their PC-tethered device a couple of years ago. So yeah, we needed to be adaptable in this point. So we started to actually produce trainings for standalone VR. We all know that those machines are actually, like mobile devices, so they do not support those huge CAD models and everything. So one of the clients actually asked us, like, okay, we want to use standalone VR, but we want graphics from the PC VR. So we needed to rely on cloud streaming. So what is cloud streaming? Briefly, it's an NVIDIA's CloudXR protocol for actually running your PC trainings on remote servers somewhere in the world and actually stream it to your device. And not just stream it, you can actually interact with those trainings. So it enables you actually to have a training in those small headsets and run it as is a PC headset. And what are the results? We're getting to that costing and how to scale production. So this is like average time of development per training. So when we're developing these trainings and implementing all of these tools and everything, we're constantly seeing like, okay, we're onboarding new people, but we're not getting slower. We're actually reducing time in developing, also reducing cost at the same time. So what's next? We need to lower that time even more. So we're trying to see how can we bridge those gaps. What are the biggest challenges? So creating a storyboard from the standard operating procedure is the main point. But thankfully, in the last year, we have large language models, and we actually started to train them based on the storyboards we created from those standard operating procedures. We're giving them a lot of SOPs, and they create storyboards for us. And also there's a storyboard importer. We now created a tool where you can import that storyboard and actually remove the boilerplate when creating a training. So I think we can gain some kind of like 30 to 35 reduction of creating training. And the main idea is actually to make them even more affordable and to distribute them to more and more refineries and plants all around the world while keeping the high standard in the industry. And that's it.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Simon and Jake. That was very insightful. Thank you for sharing with us your challenges in Linde world. So now is the time for questions. So please take advantage of this moment. Any questions? Go ahead. Is a perfect opportunity to know more. Okay, there we go.
Hi, I'm Carsten from Merck. I would like to know a bit more about this business model when you are selling these trainings to customers. On which platform do they book it? How does that work with the micropayments, enterprise license models? What's the hardware infrastructure they need to run this, etc.?
Okay. Business model is sometimes hard to calculate if it comes to safety trainings because it's hard to measure the success. Yeah. So this is one part where we rely on the feeling and the experience. If you come to other trainings, for example, maintenance or truck loading, there's a really business case behind. You can onboard people quite faster, so you're saving hours. Yeah. So this is a business model you can calculate. What we have a subscription fee for standard trainings. We have customized, let me say, offers. If you as a customer come to us and say, I would like to have my plan, my model in the platform, and I would like to have my operator procedures in the training, and then it's customized. Yeah. But this is then something you get as an owner, and then some maintenance fee, of course, arise yearly. And regarding the third question was the hardware, I guess. Yeah, you need a VR glasses, and currently, I think, still a gaming PC, but we are right now really in the transition phase to come to the streaming. So then only you can skip the gaming PC and then just the glasses.
But their trainings are stored on your cloud with dedicated access rights because of the customizations.
Correct, yeah.
Any more questions? No? Are you sure? No one wants to ask anything else? Okay, so now yes, let's give a... yeah, you have a question, go ahead, sure.
Yes. Hi, Juhis from Finland. It was a good presentation. What I was curious about XR learning applications, kind of my thing, but you mentioned about the assistant that you need to have a guide and non-guided versions on that section when you are doing the application, right? So I was wondering, do you have a pedagogical framework that you are applying to the application and the teaching itself?
Can you please repeat the question? I didn't get. Sorry.
So are you using any kind of a pedagogical framework to create learning experiences? That's my main question.
I mean, we created an internal framework all around these tools, and actually it's constantly changing, and we're trying to see how can we do it better, how can we, you know, you don't want to have like repeatable types of training, and you wanted to really emphasize the learning values out of those trainings. So it's a learning process, and I think we saw the data, actually we're much faster and we can do it easier than, I don't know, 6 months ago or 12 months ago. So I think the framework is constantly changing, and it comes down to actually following the trends and try to foresee what is the next trend, what's a reliable technology or something like that. So, and especially in the oil and gas industry, because it has its own, you know, prerequisites, so how to work.
All right, thanks.
Okay, if there's time.
Well, yeah, let's make
Quick one.
Quick one, very quick, okay?
Hi, I try to make it a quick question. Since oil and gas industry has this big cyber-physical system, what do you think about integrating digital twin approaches, standardized approaches to integrate sensor values and similar things you would need to train maintainers and operators as well?
Yeah, I mean, with the digital twin, of course, this is something we're already following, and I think it's a good approach to think about. We are not there to combine it, yeah, but why not having the two solutions at the end combined with the sensors, yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, so now, yes, let's give a big applause to Simon and Jake. Thank you very much.